my Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharashras and Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And it says here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described herein as the wonderful cause. He is wonderful in the sense that although there may be unlimited emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janmadyasya Yata, he always remains complete. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. In our experience in the material world, if we have a bank balance of $1 million, as we withdraw money from the bank, the balance gradually diminishes until it becomes nil. However, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is so complete that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him, he remains the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Therefore, he is the Godhead. Therefore, he is the wonderful cause. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiraja Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. That's from the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Even in this material world, we can understand that the sun has existed for millions of years and has given off heat and light since its creation. Yet, the sun still retains its power and never changes. What then is to be said of the supreme cause, Param Brahma, Krishna? Everything emanates from him perpetually, yet he maintains his original form, Satchitananda Vigraha. Krishna personally says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Mata Sarvam Pavartate. Everything emanates from me. Everything emanates from Krishna eternally, yet he is the same Krishna and does not change. Therefore, he is the shelter of all transcendentalists who are eager to get free from material bondage. Everyone must take shelter of Krishna. It is therefore advised, Akama Sarvakamo Va, Moksha Kama Udaradi, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, Yajata Purusham Param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or desires to merge into the Supreme Personality of Godhead by rendering transcendental loving service. Bhagavad Gita 2.3.10. Param Brahma, the Supreme Lord, and Param Dhamma, the supreme repose, is Krishna. Therefore, anyone who desires anything, whether to be a karmi, a jnani, or a yogi, should try to perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead very seriously, and all of his desires will be fulfilled. Oh, that's nice. All of his desires will be fulfilled. The Lord says, Ye yatamam papadyante, tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As the living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Even the karmi who wants everything for his enjoyment can get it from Krishna. For Krishna supplies whatever he wants. Is not at all difficult. Actually, however, one should worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the sake of getting liberation. Vedaishta sarvir aham eva vedya. By studying the Vedic literature, one should understand Krishna, as confirmed here. Sarvagam mam manaya mahar navaya. He is the ocean, and all Vedic knowledge flows toward him. Therefore, intelligent transcendentalists take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvadharmam prityaja mamekam saranam vraja. This is the ultimate goal. Text number 16. One second, I want to find my
Pencil.
pencil. You see it? I know it. I know it. That's great. Thank you. Text number 16. My Lord, as the fire in Arani wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in the Vedic literatures, because such advanced souls are transcendental. You personally appear in their pure minds. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 10.11, it is said, Te sam evanukam paratam aham ajnana jam tama nasayami atmabhavasto jnanadipena basvata. For a devotee who has taken the lotus feet of the Lord within his heart, the Lord gives special enlightenment, known as Jnana Dipa, by special mercy from within. This Jnana Dipa is compared to the fire hidden within Arani wood to perform to perform fire sacrifices. Great sages previously did not ignite a fire directly. The fire would be invoked from Arani wood. Similarly, all living entities are covered by the modes of material nature, and the fire of knowledge can be ignited only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one takes him within one's heart, Savai Mana, Krishna Padara Vrindayo, if one takes seriously the lotus feet of Krishna, who is seated within one's heart, the Lord eradicates all ignorance. By the torch of knowledge, one immediately understands everything properly by the special mercy of the Supreme Lord and becomes self realized. In other words, although a devotee may externally not be very well educated, because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives him enlightenment from within. If the Lord gives enlightenment from within, how can one be in ignorance? Therefore, the allegation of the Mayavadis that the devotional path is for the unintelligent or uneducated is untrue. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvar gunais tatra samasate sura. If one becomes an unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Lord, he automatically manifests all good qualities. Such a devotee is above the instructions of the Vedas. He has a Paramahansa. He is a Paramahansa. Even without going through the Vedic literature, a devotee becomes pure and enlightened by the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, my Lord, the devotee says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Now that is a wonderful statement. Wonderful statement. Text 17. Since an animal such as I has since an animal such as I has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you successfully tried to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Brihate Namas Te Te have been explained by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. Brihate Sri Krishnaya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Krishna. There are many tattvas, such as Vishnu tattva, Jiva tattva, and Shakti tattva. But above everything is the Vishnu tattva, which is all-pervading. This all-pervading feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10.42, wherein the Lord says, Atraiva vahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam krishnam ekam sena stito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. End of quote. Thus, Krishna says that the entire material world is maintained by his partial representation as Paramatma. The Lord enters every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then expands himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu to enter the hearts of all living entities, and even enter the atoms. Andantarasta Paramanu Jayantarastam. Every universe is full of atoms, and the Lord is not only within the universe, but also within the atoms. Thus, within every atom, the Supreme Lord exists in his Vishnu feature as Paramatma. But all the Vishnu tattvas emanate from Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Krishna is the Adi, or beginning, of the Devas, of this material world. Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Therefore, he is described here as Bhagavate Vihate. Everyone is Bhagavan. No, Everyone is Bhagavan. Everyone possesses opulence. But Krishna is Brihan Bhagavan, the possessor of unlimited opulence. Ishvara Parama Krishnas. Krishna is the origin of everyone. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Even Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara come from Krishna. Mata Paratram Nanya Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. There is no personality superior to Krishna. Therefore, Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says that Bhagavate Brihate means unto Sri Krishna. In this material world, everyone is pasu, an animal, because of the bodily conception of life. Yasyatma buddhi kunape jidatuke swadi kalatradisu bahumna ijyadi yatirta buddhi salive nakarichid janesu abhigyesu sa eva gokara. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like a cow or an ass. Bhagavatam 10:84-13. Practically everyone, therefore, is a pasu, an animal, and everyone is attacked by the crocodile of, sorry, a second, crocodile of material existence. Not only the king of the elephants, but every one of us is being attacked by the crocodile and is suffering the consequences. Only Krishna can deliver us from the material existence. Indeed, he is always trying to deliver it. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridde Sevijunatistati. He is within our hearts and is not at all inattentive. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He is never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse says, Buri Karunaya Namo Laya Ya. Aya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated, and he tries to make us liberated. But although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. Sarvadharma parityaja, mamekam saranam vraja. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Buri Karunaya, unlimited merciful, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. Text number 18. My Lord, those who are completely freed from the material contamination always meditate upon you within the cores of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the supreme controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes into the material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. This is confirmed in Ishopanishad. Apapa vidam, he is not contaminated. This same fact is described here. Guna Sangha Vivarjitaya. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears as an incarnation within this material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, Avajanti Mam Buddha Manasim Tanam Asritam. Foolish men with insufficient knowledge deride the personality of Godhead because he appears just like a human being. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood only by the Muktatma, the liberated soul. Muktatma Bihi, Muktat Mabi, Swahridaye Paribhavitaya. Only the liberated person can constantly think of Krishna. Such a person is the greatest of all yogis. Yoginam apisarve samadvatanantaratmana Shadavan bhajate yomam sameyututamo mata. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Text 19. After worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are interested in the four principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation obtain from him, meaning Krishna, what they desire. What then is to be said of other benedictions? Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body to such ambitious worshippers. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly merciful, bestow upon me the benediction of liberation from this present danger and from the materialistic way of life. Oh boy, the materialistic way of life is terrible. Purport. Some men within this material world are akami, free from material desire. Some are ambitious to get more and more material profit, and some desire fulfillment in religious life, economic development, sense gratification, and finally liberation. Akama sarvakamova, moksha kama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajata purisham param. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10. It is recommended that whatever one's position, whether one demands whether one demands no material profit, all material profit, or ultimately liberation, one should offer his obedient devotional service to the Lord, and one will get what he desires. Krishna is so kind. Ye yatamam prapadyante tamstadaiva bhajamyam. The Lord reciprocates whatever even an ordinary living entity wants. Krishna gives. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and he gives that which is desired by the living entity. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, heard they say Regina Tistati. Ramayan Sarva Bhutani, Yanta Rudrani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine. made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18:61. The Lord gives everyone an opportunity to fulfill his ambition. Even such a devotee as Dhruva Maharaja wanted the material benedictions of a kingdom greater than that of his father. And although he received a spiritual body, he also got the kingdom. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not disappoint anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Therefore, since Gajendra, king of the elephants, had surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to get free from the present danger and indirectly from the present danger of materialistic life, why should the Supreme Personality of Godhead not fulfill his desire? Yeah, he should definitely, because these are all devotees. They might be in difficult situations, but the Lord will always save the devotee who is seriously engaged in devotional service. Text 20 and 21. Unalloyed devotees who have no desire other than to serve the Lord worship him in full surrender and always hear and chant about his activities, which are most wonderful and auspicious. Thus, they always merge in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Such devotees never ask the Lord for any benediction. I, however, am in danger. Thus, I pray to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is eternally existing, who is invisible, who is the Lord of all great personalities, such as Brahma, and who is available only by transcendental bhakti yoga. Being extremely subtle, he is beyond the reach of my senses and transcendental to all external realizations. He is unlimited. He is the original cause, and he is completely full in everything. I offer my obeisances unto him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Anya Vilasita Sunyam, Jnana Karmani Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishnana Sivanam Bhaktir Uttama. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Unalloyed devotees have nothing to ask from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Gajendra, the king of the elephants, was circumstantially asking for an immediate benediction because he had no other way to be rescued. Sometimes, when there is no other alternative, a pure devotee, being fully dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, prays for some benediction. But in such a prayer, there is also regret. One who always hears and chants about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is always situated on a platform on which he has nothing to ask in terms of material benefits. Unless one is a completely pure devotee, one cannot enjoy the transcendental bliss derived from chanting and dancing in the ecstasy of the Sankirtan movement. Such ecstasy is not possible for an ordinary devotee. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us how one can enjoy transcendental bliss simply by chanting, hearing, and dancing in ecstasy. Okay, that's a wonderful statement. This is Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, said, Adhyatmika Yoga Gamyam, indicating that unless one is situated on this transcendental platform, one cannot approach the Supreme Lord. The benediction of being able to approach the Lord can be achieved after many, many births. Yet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has awarded this benediction to everyone, even to the fallen souls who have no heritage of anything in spiritual life. That is actually being seen in the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, the path of Bhakti Yoga is the spotless process by which to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktyaham ekhaya graya. Only through devotional service can one approach the Supreme Lord. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.1, Maya Shakta Manakparta Yogam Yunjan Madasraya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Yasasi Tatshrinu. Now hear, O son of Prita, Arjuna, how, by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Simply by being attached to Krishna consciousness and by thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna constantly, one can fully understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead without a doubt. Text 22 to 24. The Supreme Personality of Godhead creates his minor parts and parcels, the Jiva Tattva, beginning with Lord Brahma, the demigods, and the expansions of Vedic knowledge, Sama, Rig, Yajur, and Atharva, and including all other living entities, moving and non-moving, with their different names and characteristics. As the sparks of a fire or the shining rays of the sun emanate from their source and merge into it again and again, the mind, the intelligence, the senses, the gross and subtle material bodies, and the continuous transformations of the different modes of nature all emanate from the Lord and again merge into him. He is neither demigod nor demon, neither human nor bird or beast. He is not woman, man, or neuter, nor is he an animal. He is not a material quality, a fruitive activity, a manifestation or non-manifestation. He is the last word in the discrimination of not this, not this. And he is unlimited. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow. That's a beautiful verse. Purport. This is a summary description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's unlimited potency. That Supreme One is acting in different phases by manifesting his parts and parcels, which are all simultaneously differently situated by his different potencies. Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vashriyate. Each and every potency is acting quite naturally. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. Therefore, the Lord is unlimitedly Natat Samas Chab Adi Chab Adi Kas Chadrishyate. Nothing is equal to him, nor is anything greater than him. Although he manifests himself in so many ways, personally he is nothing to do. He has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate, where everything is done by expansions of his unlimited energies. Text 25. Jivise naham iha muya kim antar bahis chavitai ye ya yonya ichami kalena na yasya viplavas tasyatma lokavar a nasya moksham. I do not wish to live anymore after I am released from the attack of the crocodile. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? I simply desire eternal liberation from the covering of ignorance. That covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. Oh boy, look how spiritually advanced the devotee of the Lord is. Uh, so this is an elephant who's been attacked by the crocodile, and he is completely surrendered now to Krishna. In this material world, every living entity is covered by the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, the Vedas enjoin that one should approach the Supreme Lord through the spiritual master who is described and offered prayers in the Gautamiya Tantra as follows. Om Aganya Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksur Om Niritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Just wait 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let's see here. Although one may struggle for existence in this material world, to live forever is impossible. One must understand, however, that this struggle for existence is due to ignorance. For otherwise, every living being is an eternal part of the Supreme Lord. There is no need to live as an elephant or man, American or Indian. One should desire only to achieve every good, to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within this material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. We are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement. I'm sorry, man. A permanent uh, we are making so many plans to live happily, But there cannot be any happiness in this material world, however we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life or that. Text 26. Soham Vishwa Srijam Vishwam Avishwam Vishwa Vedasam Vishwat Mananam Ajam Brahma Pranato Smi Param Padam. Now, fully desiring release from material life, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person, who is the creator of the universe, who is himself the form of the universe, and who is nonetheless transcendental to this cosmic manifestation, and he is the supreme knower of everything in this world, the supreme, the super soul of the universe. He is the unborn, supremely situated Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Wow, what wonderful prayers here. To get bitten by a crocodile, just see how wonderful poetry you can make. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes when bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, is preached to the common man, people argue. Where is Krishna? Where is God? Can you show me him? And can you show him to us? In this verse, the answer is given that if we are sufficiently intelligent, we must know that there is someone who has created the entire cosmic manifestation, who has supplied and has become the ingredients for this cosmic manifestation, who is eternally existing, but who is not within the cosmic manifestation. Simply on the basis of this suggestion, one can offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. This is the beginning of devotional life. Oh, very good. Text 27. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, the Super Soul, the Master of all mystic yoga, who is seen in the core of the heart by perfect mystics when they are completely purified and freed from the reactions of fruitive activity by practicing bhakti yoga. That's a nice verse. The king of elephants, Gajendra, simply accepted that there must be someone who has created this cosmic manifestation and has supplied its ingredients. This should be admitted by everyone, even the most determined atheists. Wow. Why then do the non devotees and atheists not admit this? The reason is that they are polluted by the reactions of their fruitive activity. One must be freed from all the dirt accumulated within a heart due to fruitive activities performed one after another. One must wash off this dirt by practicing bhakti yoga. It's an amazing statement. Yoga randita karmana. As long as one is covered by material nature's modes of ignorance and passion. Oh, sorry, 1 second. As long as one is covered by material nature's modes of ignorance and passion, there is no possibility of understanding the Supreme Lord. Tadarajas tamo bhava kamalobadayas chaye. When one is freed from the modes of ignorance and passion, one becomes free from the lowest qualities, kama and loba, lust and greed. Nowadays, there are so many yoga schools to encourage people developing their lusty desires, what a statement, and greed through the practice of yoga. People are therefore very much fond of so-called yoga practice. The actual practice of yoga, however, is described here as authoritatively stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.1, Dhyana Vastita Tadkatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina. A yogi is one who always meditates on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. This is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.38. Pramanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadeva Hridayesu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. The bhakti yogi constantly sees Shyamasundara, beautiful Lord Krishna, with his blackish bodily hue, because the king of the elephants, Gajendra, thought himself an ordinary animal. He thought himself unfit to see the Lord. In his humility, he thought that he could not practice yoga. In other words, how can those who are like animals in the bodily concept of life and who have no purity of consciousness practice yoga? In the present day, people who have no control over their senses, who have no understanding of philosophy, and who do not follow religious principles or rules and regulations are nonetheless pretending to be yogis. This is the greatest anomaly in the practice of mystic yoga. Wow, that's a tremendous statement. Text number 28. Namo namas tudyam asaya vega shakti chaya yakila lakila di gunaya prapana palaya duranta shaktaye kad indriyanam anavapya vartamane. My Lord, you are the controller of formidable strength in three kinds of energy. You appear as the reservoir of all sense pleasure and the protector of the surrendered souls. You possess unlimited energy, but you are unapproachable by those who are unable to control their senses. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Attachment, greed, and lust are three formidable forces that prevent one from concentrating upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me read that again. Attachment, greed, and lust are three formidable forces that prevent one from concentrating upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These forces, act because the Supreme Lord does not like to be realized by non-devotees and atheists. However, when one surrenders onto the lotus feet of the Lord, these impediments are withdrawn. and one can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord is the protector of the surrendered soul. One cannot become a devotee unless one surrenders unto the Lord's lotus feet. Then the Lord gives one the intelligence from within by which one can return home back to Godhead. Very nice. I offer my respect, text 29, text 28. I'm sorry, text 29. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose illusory energy the jiva, who is part and parcel of God, forgets his real identity because of the bodily concept of life. I take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose glories are difficult to understand. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, every living entity, regardless of whether he be human, demigod, animal, bird, bee, or whatever, is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord and the living entity are intimately related like father and son. Unfortunately, because of the material contact, the living entity forgets this and wants to enjoy the material world independently, according to his own plan. This illusion, Maya, is very difficult to surmount. Maya covers the living entity because of his willingness to forget the Supreme Personality of God and make his own plan to enjoy this material world. As long as this contamination continues, the conditioned soul will be unable to understand his real identity and will perpetually continue under illusion, life after life. Ato griha chitra sutapta vitaya janasya mohoyam aham lameti. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.8. As long as the living entity is not enlightened, so that he may understand his real position, he will be attracted to materialistic life, to house, country, or field, to society, sons, family, community, bank balance, and so on. Covered by all this, he will continue to think, I am this body, and everything related to this body is mine. This materialistic conception of life is extremely difficult to surmount. But one who surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as did Gajendra, the king of the elephants, comes to enlightenment on the Brahman platform. Okay, we're almost finished. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Natsachatina Kamsati. Samaksarve Subhute Su Madbhaktim Labhate Param. One who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Bhagavatam 18:54. Since a devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entity. Sama sarvesu bhutesu. Okay, my dear devotees, I think we'll stop here. And this takeaway is very important. What is it? The materialistic conception of life is extremely difficult to surmount. But one who surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as did Gajendra, the king of the elephants, comes to enlightenment on the Brahman platform. Brahmabhuta prasanatma nasochiti nakankshati samaksarvesu bhutesu madbhaktim labhute param. One who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Bhagavatam 1854. Since a devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entity. Sama, sama, sarve subhutesu. Okay, that is our takeaway for today. Wonderful, wonderful verses here. And if we follow even 1% of what's being said here, we'll be liberated from all nonsense in this world. What if we have 100%? And we're liberated eternally. Okay, so are there any questions or comments, my dear devotees?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol Mataji. Haribol.
Yes, Maharaj. My question is, you always mention that devotees should not desire or ask for anything from Krishna as he fulfills everything according to our um, karma or whatsoever, or whatever he wishes. So if somebody is sick or somebody has a disease, um, is it okay to ask for him favors from Krishna to make that person better? Or is that still up to Krishna, whatever happens? Can you please clarify that?
Yes, thank you. Very good question. If we simply glorify Krishna, just like here it says, uh, this Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakakshati Samaksarve Subhute Sumad Bhaktin Labhate Pram. One who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Bhagavad Gita 1854. Since a devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entity. Sama sarve subhutesu. So that is what our situation should be like. We should be completely surrendered to the Lord. Now, if someone that we love is very sick and suffering, we should simply chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, not necessarily to so that our relative or friend uh, gets better, but because we want our uh, sick comrade to go back to Godhead. So we should always pray for the benefit of the devotee to be able to go back to Godhead. That solves the problem of material life. So whether we die young or we die old, uh, the goal is always going to be to go back to Godhead. Therefore, it says here, the materialistic conception of life is extremely difficult to surmount. But one who surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as did Gajendra, the king of the elephants, comes to enlightenment on the Brahman platform. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Since a devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entity. Okay, so this is what we should focus on. Always glorifying the Lord and accepting whatever situation we're in as the mercy of the Lord. It might be what some people might call uh, difficult, or it might be what some people would call very wonderful. But all situations, the devotee is not bewildered. Uh, Therefore, the devotee is always happy because he knows that he has an eternal soul. And sickness or, uh, let's say, war or whatever situation that one is in, uh, he has complete faith in Krishna and will accept anything that Krishna is giving him as the mercy of the Lord. So here we have an elephant named Gajendra. He's the king of the elephants, but he's got this uh, terrible uh, uh, he's got this terrible creature that is biting him, and he realizes that his only way of becoming free of this alligator is to pray and surrender completely to Krishna. That means that the king of the elephants comes to enlightenment on the Brahman platform by completely surrendering to Krishna. Therefore, it says, one who is transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So that means that, even though the Gajendra was bitten and terribly hurt by this alligator, what is he saying? He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Since the devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entity. That is our culture. If we accept this culture of Krishna, pure Krishna consciousness, we will never have any problems in life. Even if we're bitten by an alligator, as the as Gajendra, this enlightened him. He became enlightened and came to the Brahman platform. Brahmabhuta Prasanatma Nasochatina Kakshati. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me, Krishna. Since the devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he's not jealous of any other living entity. So this is what we should meditate on. Just like this, the Gajendra, the king of the elephants, he came to enlightenment on the Brahman platform. In other words, by being bitten by the alligator, he accepted his situation and he became enlightened in Krishna consciousness. And he uh, never, he stopped lamenting or having any material desires. And he no longer had any faith, any false ideas of having sense gratification. So, in that state, one attains pure devotional service to Krishna. In other words, when we have no other material desires, then the desire to please Krishna, serve Krishna, to pray to Krishna, to surrender to Krishna, and so forth, then, and not be jealous of any other living entity, then we attain this Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, one who is transcendently situated, at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me, unto Krishna. Since the devotee is completely on the Brahman platform, he is not jealous of any other living entities. That is our takeaway for today. And it's very profound, very, very profound. So we should meditate on this today. Okay, thank you very much, my dear devotees. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll have a very good day today, and we should be thinking about the situation of Gajendra and how he dealt with his dilemma of being bitten by a terrible alligator that refuses to let go of his leg. But yet, that led him to become a pure devotee. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.